So we're just about ready to get this second semi-final underway. It's going to be an interesting contrast, this. Maybe two fighters we don't know a huge amount about, but Tia Simms-Lymn is, I think, just 15 years old. A real contrast to Georgina Usher. We don't wish to make an issue of that, of course, but the level of experience she has, I mean, she's seen as a starlet down in Plymouth, but she is actually fighting for Jamaica in this competition. She's up against Juliana Barrett, who herself is just 20 from South Africa, so it's going to be interesting to see if there's much difference between the two styles. And we have Lym Simms on the right hand side of your picture and Juliana Barrett from South Africa on the left.
Nice first hit there. Always crucial to get the single light. It's interesting you say she's just 15 years old. It's so young to be fencing on the stage. I mean, I went to my first Commonwealth Championships at 17 years old, and they were in Australia, I think in 2002. And you know, even for me, it was quite overwhelming, the whole experience. Not only just to be out there fencing in the championships, but also to be on such a senior team. I was by far the youngest on the team, and you know, lots of lessons learned at that championship. So for her to get to semi-finals is really already amazing.
And she was ranked at one point 24th in the world at under 17 level. So she, you know, obviously got some real talent to be doing that.
Yeah, and it's great that she's getting the senior level experience now.
Both fighters looking for an opening then. Both willing to come forward and try and exploit any weaknesses they can spot.
Again, the referee's called for passivity. So it's non-combativity, where both fencers express their unwillingness to fence. So they go straight into the second round of 3 minutes, and both get yellow carded as well.
And with no break. Straight on to the next 3 minutes. Interesting, Juliana Barrett, she mostly fights in the United States. She actually lives in New York, so I wonder if there's any advantage she gets in fighting outside of Europe and you know, facing different types of opponents. Does that happen in fencing? Maybe different styles from country to country?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot. The styles differ from the Americans to the French to the Italians, and you know, the Americans are very strong. You know, they're strong across all weapons really. So she should probably be getting some pretty strong sparring out there, and you know, could put her at an advantage. I must say, I'm not sure what the fencing's like in Jamaica.
I think Tia Simms is actually based on the south coast down in Plymouth, so perhaps some issues, perhaps over funding, or maybe there's another reason for her choosing to fight for Jamaica. But there she is with the very distinctive face mask on there. So.
Again, it seems to be quite a slow-paced fight, really. The kind of, passivity's already been called. It's interesting, actually. Got a nice little fencing fact for you, Nick. Did you know that there was originally no time limit in fencing? And it was in New York in 1930s in a Masters where they actually fenced for 7 hours. So
you've been talking about 9-minute fights being tiring.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh, yeah, they're really tiring. So they decided to then limit fights to 30 minutes, which for fencers out there know how. I mean, I don't know how they would have fenced for 30 minutes straight. And so now, of course, it's just 3 times 3-minute fights, which is A, much better for the spectator, I assume, and B, much better for the fencer.
So they both back off to take that break, which they didn't get, of course, because of the call of non-combativeness by the referee earlier on. So it's only 4-all as we move into the final period. I mean, we've had a good chunk of the first period chopped off as well, but still a fairly low-scoring affair.
Yeah, I think, like we've been talking about before, Épée is such a tactical weapon. I think none of them are they're kind of, I don't want to say scared to commit, but they're just sussing each other out, and it just goes to show how difficult it is to hit your opponent in Épée, how conscientious you have to be of your target, because your whole body is target area. So any kind of movement or any feint or jostle or whatever, you're exposing yourself. So every single step has to be thought out and well planned, and it's all about kind of conceding your intentions and not telegraphing your movements. So tactical. And actually, to keep your concentration for that level of time is tough, because when you're fencing for 3 minutes like that, and really both fencers are kind of waiting, you've got to be on the ball, because that's when you're at your most dangerous, is when someone can just do a burst of powerful attack and catch you by surprise.
Must be quite easy to switch off and just think, well, we're thinking the same thing, and as you say, just being taken unawares.
Yeah, must be hard.
Here we go in the final period, last 3 minutes, 4 points all between the Jamaican and South African. Juliana Barrett just looks a little bit more lively, I suppose, in her footwork and. Simms-Lymn just edging forward, but not with the same bounce, I suppose. Strange change in atmosphere, isn't it, from that Jamie Fitzgerald fight to what we're seeing now, when it's obviously a lot more cagey and the crowd are not quite so into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we go again. The referee's called for passivity. So we're going to go into the final minute. The referee's also just concerned about the offence's hair, so he's asked her to put it up because, of course, if you hit the hair, you don't want the hair to be over the target, so she needs to get it out of the way. Priority has been awarded to Barrett.
Some shouts of support then for Tia Simms-Lymn coming from the crowd.
Right, so immediately they look a little bit more up for it, don't they? They're very much more energy going on. Oh, what a hit! Very nice. 1 up. And of course, just to remind everybody, they're just going to play this minute out. And whoever's in the lead will win the fight, except for, of course, if the scores are even doors, then Barrett, who has priority, will win the fight. Barrett's going to have to start pressing now, trying to create that hit, get it even. Oh yes, she's done it. She's gonna feel pretty confident after that. That's going to be tricky to get 2 hits in 24 seconds.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Tia Simms-Lymn just seems to have come to life a little bit, and maybe that's what she needed to do slightly earlier in the fight. Was
getting in close, lots of jabbing. Oh, she's just fallen off the stage there. She's going to regain her footing.
The referee just making sure everything's A-OK after that little stumble.
Yep, so she's just retreating 1 metre because she came off piste. When you come off the piste, you have to go back a metre, which of course is dangerous to the back line. So if you go off the back line, it's a hit against you. That's double light. We've got 7 seconds left.
And you've got to think that Juliana Barrett really has to get on the attack as quickly as she can.
Yeah, she knows she has to go. There we go. There's a light. Now it really is. It is possible to do it in 4 seconds. Yeah. Oh. She's obviously just running for her opponent and just kind of lost control.
And that's going to be a yellow card. 2 seconds to go then. Needs a hit, Juliana Barrett.
Everyone's laughing a little bit because the referee called distance and Barrett seemed to move forward a little bit. She's obviously so eager to get that hit. Oh, it's a double light and that's it. Still 1 second left, but I think this is going to be very difficult for her to get near her opponent.
What a change in the atmosphere in here as well, as all of a sudden it was... That's it, time's up. Simply not enough time. And Tia Simms, the 15-year-old representing Jamaica, will take on Georgina Usher of Scotland, the 42-year-old, in the final.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, you know, for such a young fencer, this really is a great result. And it was just such a tactical fight. Only did she start getting a couple of hits away right in the last final priority last minute. It really was a cracking fight at the end.
And there has been so much drama today. Obviously, Jamie Fitzgerald, we ended up with the same situation in that fight as well, where one side was going to have to force the issue.
Yeah, it goes to show how important these final hits are when it's 14 all of these priority hits, when it's down to the wire. You know, that's what we train for, actually, these hits. You know, quite often, that will mean you either win or you lose in it. And we also train for winning the full rules during the pools because it's so important to take those fights. So we constantly, what we tend to do is or what I used to do in training is every time I did a fencing fight, we'd also do a one-hit priority hit at the end of each training fight, just to get used to that scenario, get used to that situation. And someone like Fitzgerald, who just kind of, he did it with such ease, you know, and actual guts to kind of hang around right to the last minute. You know, we'll find out if that was his game plan after all, but I suspect it was.